Hello! Let me just check. Have I got the mic on? I've got the mic on, it's just not anywhere near my face. Okay, I just broke the mic. Brilliant. Professional as ever. Welcome everyone. I can't see the chat. Let's see if we can find the chat to see if there's anyone here. Right, we've found the chat. Can I put the actual chat into the live chat so as I can see what people are saying? Let me know if you can hear and see me. You should be able to see some beer if nothing else. Hello all, says Zen Ginger. Hopefully we can see some people. So, we've got a jam-packed Friday night. I've already started doing the water changes. I'm a little bit ahead of you. So I'm going to get that finished off short. Well, one of the Discus tanks needs to be started to be refilled. Try and use English again. One of the Discus tanks has been emptied and needs to be refilled, so we'll do that in a minute. On screen you can see the selection of drinks we're having tonight. We've got cider. Cider has made an appearance just for Aquarium Daily's benefit because he keeps asking me every week. Audio, video, good, that's what we want to see. So I have a little dilemma. I've got 2 bottles of cider and 2 bottles of beer, and I can't remember what the rhyme is. Is it cider on beer, feeling queer? Cider on beer, feeling queer. Beer on cider, easy rider. Something like that. See, this is the problem. The rhyme is designed to help you remember which way around to drink these things so you don't get ill. And I can't remember which way around they're meant to go. I'm pretty sure you're meant to start with cider and then move on to the beer. Does that make sense? Who knows? Hopefully we'll figure it out. Do you know what? I'm just going to be brave. I'm going to start on the cider. We're going to go from left to right tonight, I think. So we've got Henry Weston's vintage cider. I think that's what you asked me to buy, wasn't it? Aquarium Daily. And then because that was on a 2-for-1 offer, no it wasn't, it was on a 2 for £4.50 or something like that. This snazzy little cranberry and clementine cider. Because I like a little bit of fruitiness, who doesn't? And then we've gone for some Sheffield beers. These are from Bradfield Brewery. We've got the Farmer's Blonde and the Farmer's Pale Ale. Not going to lie, I've had the blonde one before, I'm pretty sure. And it's quite nice. So, you know, supporting my local industries. But who have we got in? Who have we got here? Let's have a look. Bunny Viper Aquatics, hello, hope you're doing well. I am, thank you. Hey, says the Adventuring Scotsman. Evening from a quite cool Edinburgh. Do you know what? It's quite a cool Sheffield today. This was the first day where I thought, oh, bit of a chill. Not in here. It's a bazillion degrees in here. But there's a bit of a chill. I feel like I'm bending down an awful lot. I'm just going to dick about with this camera. Warning, live dicking about to occur. Is that any better? No. Okay, I'm dicking about with the camera, but that means I'm going to be like this when I'm trying to read things now. It's probably not any better. Anyway, yeah, pretty cold today. It's the first day I thought I'll put a jumper on. It's the first day I've thought, should I bring the goldfish in from the pond? It's getting there. Hands, hi from the fish basement. Water change on the indoor pond takes forever. Hi from my fish basement. My fish room, right. In fact, let's get this water change underway. I'm going to stand on anything. First spillage of the evening. Right, I'm going to move this around so as you can see and let me know. Let me know. There we go. So GoPro cam will show you the water level. When we get up to full, remember, let me know in advance. Right, let's go back to the chat. Good evening, Aquarium Daily. Good evening, Martin. Freshwater Ichthyology. Good evening. So, Western Cider. Let's get this cracked open. I've got to be honest, I've never tried it before. I'm not expecting it to be disgusting. I'm not expecting it to be amazing or anything. Cider, pretty much in my book, unless it's got like a funky flavour. But we shall see. Give it the old nose test. I don't know what I'm doing this for. Oh, do you know what it smells like? Cider. I'm getting heavy strongbow whiffs. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Kaylee's in. Good evening, Kaylee. Venturing Scotsman heading out fishing and camping until Monday. Oh. To get back in time for the funeral. As Scott says, don't forget to hit that like button. So, yeah, not unpleasant. Let me think about that for a while. I'm not entirely sure whether that's just... I'm getting a little bit of Strongbow vibes off of this, I'm afraid. I say that as if it's a bad thing. I suppose Strongbow's like generic lager in the cider world. 8.2% volume. My God, maybe I picked the wrong one to start with. Jesus. 8.2%. I swear I've not had anything else to drink yet. Wow, for something this strong, it actually tastes quite nice. Usually the strong ones you're a bit like, oh, I'm only drinking this because I'm an alky and I'm trying to get drunk. But light and refreshing. Can't go wrong with that. Evening from South Africa, says Dorian. Good evening from South Africa. Meet Christine from America. And Andy from Britain. I imagine. I have no idea. Beer then cider? No, I'm going to have to Google it. I'm pretty sure it's the other way around. Bear with me, callers. Because obviously, you could drink them together, because beer and cider, that's just snakebite, isn't it? Then if you put in some blackcurrant, you get diesel. Beer on cider makes a good rider. Cider on beer makes you feel queer. So if you drink cider after beer, you will feel ill. Yeah, so that's the right way. Cider then beer. Then there's the beer and wine feeling fine, wine and beer feeling queer. It's basically, don't drink beer last. No, that's not right. And this one it is drink beer last. Oh, this is too confusing. Who knows? Well, whatever. Beer then liquor, never sicker. Liquor then beer, never fear. Cider's never factored here in the US. Well, isn't cider something different in America? I've lost it now. Don't you call cider like what we would call apple juice? Or is it the other way around? Confirmation there that is a saying. Never mix grape and grain, so I don't drink wine and then drink whiskies and things like that. I think if you're Scottish you can pretty much do whatever you want. Nicer than Strongbow, but doesn't have more than 6. Yeah, definitely don't have more than 6. Whenever you do the smell test, I think the new Oz Clark. See, it's gone now. Now that That's weird. I don't know if that's why they do this, but the smell's gone. Is it because once you've drunk it, you can no longer smell it? I don't know. That's a strange noise I've never heard before. Where did that come from? Anyway, I'm going to put the GoPro back on so you can tell me if I'm going over while I get through the rest of these. Thanks, Fishkeeper. I enjoy a good fruity cider. The two of my worst nights are on cider. Diamond White and Strongbow put me off for years. Yeah, I know what you mean. Diamond White, Strongbow, MD 2020 down the park. Good evening to the Alcoholics Anonymous Challenge. Well, yeah, we're not anonymous because we've all got our names next to our comments, but yeah, Alcoholics Anonymous. Darren Slack, still no glass. Da, 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 da. I found a pint glass, but I'm saving it for the beer because cider I don't think matters. But I'm saving it for the beer. This is my Hop House 13 glass that one of my kind subscribers, they sent me. I mean, I totally encourage this kind of thing. They kindly sent me some beer, and it was like a gift pack that came with a glass as well. So I got this and a few cans of Hop House 13, and I've still got the glass. I think that was from Simon, who used to be a mod on the channel, but we haven't seen him for a while. So, I have got a glass. Da-da. I can see it. I can see a short stream happening here. Yeah, I must admit, I did not realise that was 8% volume. So, in fact, what are the other ones? 4%, 4%, 5%. Right, the rest of them are fairly average, so we should be okay. Is this the new Big Clive? Yeah, this is, instead of electronics, we do fish. So maybe I should get the soda stream down here and start soda streaming some of this stuff. So cider here, at least when I was growing up, was mulled fruit juice, usually apple and spices and cinnamon, and then usually bourbon. Oh, that sounds nice. Silver Creek Aquatics, good evening. Fish Vet, just back from the pub, glad to see a glass. Yes, I couldn't go 3 weeks in a row without having a glass. Right, so what we've got in store for tonight is absolutely nothing planned, if I'm completely honest. This is now turned into, rather than a Friday night live stream where we play games and things like that, it's Friday night, do me water changes, break equipment, do me water changes, break things, and have a chat about whatever the hell we can think to have a chat about. So we'll move the camera around once we've got this going, but I just want to get this one filled up. Is that fish? No, it's just the way the light's shining. So I'm going to get the other Discus tank started because I want to do a change on that one as well tonight. So, you know, just talk amongst yourselves for a minute while I evacuate some water. So we'll do some feedings, some water changes, a little bit of a general catch up, some news. Don't get too excited, mega tank's still not fixed. I think we've got some events on this weekend as well. There's an auction on next week as well, which I'm hoping to be able to go to. Interesting stuff, this, isn't it? There we go. Yeah, interesting stuff this, isn't it? It's very much... I usually do this all alone, so it's nice to have you all here with me. Much reduces the chance of me flooding the fish room, having all you here to go, grab the water! Whew, but my god is it hot. So this whole heating the room business to try and save money, it's definitely working. The electricity bill's gone way down by doing it this way, and all the tanks are keeping up temperature, but spend any amount of time in here. It's bloody hot. William says, I had about 5 at my mates once and said, here, I'm a bit tipsy. Bet you did. And then the 8.6 conversation. 8.2 these ones, I mean, I've literally had a third of it and I'm already going blah blah blah. I think that might just be my natural rubbishness at presenting. So yes, this weekend is the... what's it called? Freshwater Extravaganza? Something like that. It's a show organised by the British Killifish Organisation. But it's Saturday and Sunday, they've got some talks on. It's just off junction... I'm going to give you like really terrible information. It's just off the M1, junction 29, 28, 31, not sure. Google it, Facebook it. It sounds quite good. There's a few interesting speakers and interesting topics being covered. I think they're having a bit of a show and a bit of an auction. £8 a day, I think, is the entry price. I will not be going because too many other family commitments, so I don't think I'm going to make it along. Because if I could go, I could probably only go for a couple hours. It feels like it's a bit of a trek, bit of expense for not to get anything out of it. So I'd probably only stay for maybe one of the lectures, if that, and wouldn't get a chance to get around and see everything. So it just feels like it would annoy me to try and go and do it justice than it would to actually go. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to give that a miss. Next weekend, I think, is the SVAS auction. Next weekend? It might be the weekend after. God, I'm really good with the topical information here. That I will be going to, or I'm hoping to go to. I'm hoping to stock up a little bit on some plants, some new fish. Got a few new tanks set up. Well, not new tanks, but I've got a few tanks that were broken down set up. See what's going. The last few auctions I've been to, SVAS auctions, have been really good. I've always been quite impressed with the selection that you get there. Sometimes they're even tied to shows. I think this one is just an auction. So we shall see. But if you're planning on going to that, again, that's just off junction. I think it's junction 36, the Rockingham Centre of the M1. So again, fairly local to me. I'm hoping to be there. So if you're going, come along, say hi, support your local fish club, or my local fish club. Sky Dancer, good afternoon, good evening, as it is here. How are you? Hope you're well. It's the Catfish Study Group auction and show Sunday. So that'll be that thing that I was talking about, yes. Too far to travel for me in a day. Yeah, it is quite a big trek. I think you're down in Brighton, Bristol? One of the B's. One of the B's that's too far south. Just done a big water change, shut down all 40 aquariums today. Shut down all 40 aquariums? That seems drastic. Was that shut down because... what? More info needed. Andy, get yourself some Bucky. You only drink that out of a glass on Sunday to honour the monks. Too true. Yeah, not bad. I may live to regret saying that's not bad. I didn't realise it was quite so strong. Bucky, for those who are not Scottishly inclined, is Buckfast. It's a how would you describe Buckfast? It's like an artisan wine, a tonic wine, brewed by Benedictine monks, and just only for the pure consumption of the classiest people in the universe. Quaffed at all the high-end occasions in Scotland. You drink it through like little crystal, like not shot glasses, but crystal sipping glasses. So you give it a swirl, take the nose. Delicious stuff. It's like if you ever visit Scotland, and specifically Glasgow, and you want to appear as posh as possible, go into your local co-op and ask for half a bottle of Bucky, and then find the nearest bin, sit by it and down it. Aquarium, the fish extravaganza tomorrow. Yes, that's the one I was meaning. It's not. It's not. I'm not going to make it, unfortunately. Scott, the only issue now is we don't know where the water level wanted is. I would say there. Just kind of approaching / touching the clamp. I still can't get over the whole idea of shellfish derived beer. This was the mussel stout, was it, that we were talking about last week? What's everyone drinking? Right, let's have a roll call. What have we all got? I'll start. I'm on Henry Weston's Vintage Cider, 8.2%. Light. Sticky, so very sweet. But quite enjoyable. I could see myself getting into trouble with this. Because, well, I can't remember who said it earlier, but I could see myself drinking 4 or 5 bottles of this and going, yeah, it's quite nice, and then just falling down. Scott is on Triple Fruited Mango by Vault City. Verdict, fairly nice. Well, post a picture in Discord and I'll try it out. Kaylee's on the cups of tea. Oh dear. Still paying for last week. Aquarium Daily. Hoping to stream live from the extravaganza. Right, well, post a link to your channel if you can do that. People can bookmark it. Aquarium Daily. It's quite a fitting name. Does seem to do daily streams. Mostly all these little breeding projects and things like that. So, yeah. Follow him up. It's hard work, this speaking business. So yes, follow them if you want to have anything going on from the extravaganza tomorrow. Depths Unknown, howdy folks. Right, we'll do a little bit of admin while we wait for this to fill up. Where did we go? Right, we have, how many people? We've got 46 people in, but only 19 likes. So remember people, the only admission is a like or a dislike. If you can't stand me, I'm glad you've come anyway. But give me a dislike if I'm annoying the hell out of you. Otherwise, hit that like button. That's all you need to do. You can share if you want to. There are links down below where you can hit the join button. There you will find extra emojis and things like that. As well as, if you join as a hero member, the satisfaction of knowing you're supporting a small creator. You also get a 10% discount at anything at aquariumadventures.co.uk. End sales special. Right, where did we get to? Sorry. Yes, so for our US viewers, It's a mixture of viewers and users. For our US viewers, Keystone Clash, Aquacella Chicago, Catfish, Cataclysm, Fishtoberfest, all happening in the next few weeks. And Zen Ginger can't go to any of them. I know you're feeling, there's lots of things where I go, oh, there's never any good events, then one pops up pretty much on my doorstep and I can't go. Depths Unknown will be going to Keystone Clash, close to you. Energy saving, that's why we're shutting down all the fish tanks. Fair enough. Bristol, I knew it was one of the B's. Definitely going up north in March for the Catfish Study Group Convention. A 3 hour plus drive. I saw your stream the other day, the Bentley stream. Rebecca and Alyssa did a stream talking about Ancistrus and Plecos and various related things. I thought that was great. Great job. Learned loads. It's nice to know that other people start a stream and then it all collapses immediately. Unless you had some problems with your camera and stuff. So I'm glad it's not just me. What? Buckfast is basically antifreeze with a cocktail umbrella. No, as Ross says, it's an artisan wine. Okay, Buckfast is essentially what all the Jakeys and if you're down on your luck, your choices are Special Brew or Buckfast. Or, if, I don't know, maybe if you found 50p on the floor, you might upgrade that to some like Thunderbirds or something like that. Oh, it takes me back. Oh, we're there. I don't know, you're probably all telling me down below. Yeah, question, water level question. Yeah, I shall go and sort that out. Thank you for pointing that out. For those of you wondering, that the water change technique here is I use an HMA filter connected to a shower valve. So the shower... Oh, we've gone all dark. Oh, we've hit that time. I have to turn the lights back on. Bear with me. So the shower valve kicks the water out. I think it's something like 36 degrees, but by the time it runs through all the pipes and gets round here, it's either the shower valve's broken or it just cools down naturally in the pipes. But it comes out here kinda 26, 27 degrees, which is just perfect. So it doesn't drop the temperature in the tanks too much. Controlling lights, oh god, every time I do this, there you go. Right, fish room back on, there we go. Every time I open the Alexa app, it tries to make me set up some kind of new routine. Go, oh, why don't we do this clever thing with it? I'm like, no, I just want to press the bloody button. So the reason that I can do the water changes like this is, like I say, running through an HMA valve that removes any HMA filter, which removes any chlorine, chloramines, heavy metals. HMA stands for heavy metal axe. And then because it's heated to a decent temperature, it doesn't drop the temperature in the tanks too much, if at all. So it's a really easy and convenient water change routine. Rebecca's on Aldi's Pinot Grigio. Simon's on the Thirsty Ferret. Is that the Lidl one? Depths Unknown, drinking store-brand seltzer water. That's fine. Oh, sorry, Scott. All 3 of his beers are in the Discord, so I need to check Discord more often. That's a good moment for a plug. There'll be a link somewhere. I'm on the laptop down here, so I don't have all my fancy buttons set up. But yes, we have a Discord community. Join the server there. That's throughout the week. Anytime you want to share any pictures, ask any questions. It's a really good community in there. No airs and graces, no pretension. If you just want to share some pictures, do that as well. But we've got sales, swaps, advice, general banter, all that good stuff. Go and check it out. No messing about for Martinella. A bottle of Malbec for me. It's the whole bottle to yourself. Muscle beer followed by pineapple cinnamon chill. Ugh. Oh God, even just speaking this sentence makes me want to gip. I need to try Franzi Kaner. Not sure. I mean, I'll try anything once, so maybe I do. Lindemann's Framboise Raspberry Lambic beer, Belgian and delicious. It sounds delicious. Bunny's wearing Liquid Zoo's t-shirt right now, as in merch or that you stole from him. Hello, can I ask when you'll be getting stock of your soft Artemia on your site? I'd like to order some imminently. I have an order making its way from Germany as we speak. It was due to arrive today, it didn't. So I'm hoping it'll arrive, I would have said Monday, but I guess it's not going to arrive on Monday, so maybe Tuesday. Yeah, so follow me on all my social medias and I'll put up a notification when it does arrive. So soon, very soon. Just keep checking back. I apologise for running out. It got very popular all of a sudden. In the last week, I think I sold like a kilo in the last week, which is not loads in the grand scheme of things, but for me, that's quite a lot. Which is a good thing, because it's a great food. Oh, it's very Moorish, this. We're done. Whew. You can buy leftover bread beer. Doesn't sound appealing in the slightest, and I have no idea if it's good. Way to sell it. Akira, where did you buy your first discus and how much for? There's a question. Well, do you know what? First, there is a story there. But let me crack open my cranberry and clementine cider. Get the ASMR stuff going. Oh. So only 4% this one, so nice and light alcohol-wise. I'm definitely not smelling cranberries or clementines. It's just generically fruity. It's quite subtle, quite light. Yep. It's very fizzy, but also quite flat at the same time. Does that make sense? So I can definitely taste it's like that citrusy acidity, zesty and vibrant, as it says on the thing. Nice. Quite happy with that. So my first ever discus, I can't remember how long ago it is now, but they were, how are we doing up here? They were terrible. I bought them from a terrible place. I think it's closed down now, so I can probably say this. There was a fish shop in Sheffield that I went into and I saw they had discus, and I thought, oh, I've not seen discus before. I'd never seen them in the flesh before. And I went in and they had discus, I think it was 5 for £50, and they were yay big. And all I knew about Discus was they get big and brightly coloured, and I had just bought a fairly large tank, or just been given a fairly large tank. I think it was for my like 30th birthday or something like that. And I wanted bigger fish to put in it. And I thought, yeah, Discus, that's for me, definitely. I bought them. They were maybe the worst Discus I've ever seen since. If they were 2 inches long, I don't even think they were that big. Their head, almost the entirety of their head was their eye, so they were extremely stunted, extremely thin, extremely dark in the shop, and I just thought, oh, that's that because they're young. I was your typical buy a fish then do research afterward guy. So all these people that you see coming for help on Facebook groups, I used to be that guy, so I know where they're coming from. That's why I tend not to jump down the throats, because some of them you can turn around it into responsible aquarists. But yeah, bought these fish, put them in my tank. I mean, I had done some basic research. I knew what the requirements to keep Discus were in terms of water parameters and things. They were the first fish I put in there. But I put them in and they just all died one by one within a matter of weeks, if that. And I got really quite upset about it. I got to the point where I just was overwhelmed with guilt, thinking, oh God, why can't I keep these fish? I'd been keeping fish for a long time by this point, just not as I wouldn't have called myself an aquarist, I wouldn't have called myself a fish keeper. I was just a person who had a fish tank. And I'd kept most fish fairly successfully until then, but these just immediately, they were probably the dearest fish I'd ever bought, even though it was 5 for £50 or 5 for £55 or something like that. So I joined all the forums, I read every article I could find, I asked every expert I could find, I joined specialist groups on the internet, and quickly found out if there was a bad way to do something, I had done it in procuring these fish. I later found out that this was one of the worst fish shops in Sheffield, if not the worst. So they sold me down the river, really. That's how it really went wrong. But they'd given me really poor quality Discus, and it's the kind of thing where I'd probably culled them rather than brought them home and tried to save them. But the process of trying to save them put me in touch with a few fairly reputable Discus keepers, breeders, specialists in the UK, and the majority of them were really eager to pass over the knowledge and help me out. I remember being talked through doing a potassium permanganate, that's going to be hard to say, potassium permanganate treatment over a weekend, where I had like 2 or 3 of them on the phone helping me out, and we're doing like videos and sending videos to each other going, oh, it's gone brown, what's that mean? Oh, I've done it wrong. But yeah, just that process of learning true requirements for a fish over and above. Heat must be 28 degrees, pH must be between this, understanding what makes a fish thrive rather than survive. That's what actually got me into it. So I always class this as a positive experience, because, or maybe I've done that wrong, because I usually say I class it as a positive experience because now I've got all this. So whether you class this as a burden or not, that's the moment that led me to all this. So the act of buying some terrible fish and having nightmares about how to look after them actually led me to have what some would consider a fairly well-developed hobby and interest in the hobby. So there you go. Mark's having a nice 2022 vintage Nescafe. Oh, very nice. Fishy question from John Floyd Man 77. Is it right that big Discus give off a hormone that stops smaller Discus from growing? It's certainly said that happens, but I have successfully kept big Discus and small Discus, and they've grown just fine. We might even be doing a live experiment now, because this tank here, there's quite the mix of shapes. So most of the fish are larger, but there's one that you can probably see at the back now which is tiny in comparison. So we'll see whether that goes. What I think might be happening in some cases is generally within any decent sized group, you will get a runt, you will get one of the fish which just is always being out competed for everything. It's getting enough to survive, but it's not getting enough to thrive. But I'm no scientist, so definitely there's people on both sides of that fence that the hormones from the big discus stop the smaller discus growing. I think it can be quite a good breeding trigger, the hormones from some fish. I know that if you get one pair form in a tank, I've seen that happen before my eyes, where you have no breeding activity, whatever, then one fish goes for it, and then the whole tank start pairing up and going for it. The hormones definitely work that way. I know a lot of the knowledgeable, well-respected breeders and specialists. A lot of the reasoning behind the massive water changes for them is to clear out those hormones, because they do believe that. So there's definitely something in it. I don't know enough about it. But I have seen small discus grow up quite well in tanks with larger discus. Water level, I think we're okay for a minute. Ooh, where are we at? Sorry, I'm way behind now. Love watching the fish. Well, this is it. It's a little bit of a difference from sat watching my ugly mug in my office. You get to see some fish. I am watching the water, don't worry. I mean, do worry, because quite often I'm not watching the water, but I think we're fine. I wanted to get up to the same level as the other tank, at least. The fish vet says Buckfast is toilet wine in a glass. Let's not lie to ourselves. Somebody's asking for the banhammer to come out. Bunny says we're watching a flooding tank. We're almost there. No, we've got loads of time before it floods, and even longer before it's catastrophic. Uh-oh. I pressed the button. What did I press? Does Alexa have an American accent for y'all too? No, I don't think it does. I have an Alexa in the background, but I have to turn the telly on to get her to work. What about water conditioner? No, with the HMA filter you don't need water conditioners. That's the beauty of the HMAs. They take out all the nasties that you would use water conditioner to deal with. And again, that's one of the main reasons I like it, is because rather than putting something in to bind or deal with something that's in the water, you just don't put the nasty thing in the first place. Well, you can get so Freshwater's saying there she does speak with an American accent, but you can change the accent. Aquarium Daily, my Alexa has a male voice. The wife was getting jealous. She said I spoke to Alexa more than her. I get into trouble from my wife when I tell Alexa to shut up, because I shouldn't speak to women like that. She won't, no amount of telling will say, it's not actually a woman, it's a computer. And it's being very annoying, so I want it to shut up. There we go. What should we do next? So now my GoPro's having a fit, and it looks like my Discus are having a fit, because the left hand side of the screen's working, but the right hand side's still got the old picture. I'm going to try, what am I going to try? I'm going to try removing it and reattaching it, see if that makes a difference. We'll go on big face while we do that. There we go. Hopefully that should sort it. Let's see if we've got any more questions from the floor. Hey, boom boom. I removed the heavy metal from my water and pump it through my speakers. Oh, it's very nice, this one. It's just fruity enough that it's not sickly. You can buy Francis Caner, am I saying that right? In Morrison, so no, it's just right. Okay, we'll get that one next week. Everyone seems to be wearing a Liquid Zoo t-shirt. Am I the only person that doesn't have a Liquid Zoo t-shirt? Simon, I might need some stocking ideas on a 1300 litre South American river. Need suggestions on a largish specimen? Mish Moneypenny. Avoiding discus, temperature, and angelfish psychopaths. Possibly waru and any others. Well, waru are essentially the poor man's discus, is what they're known as. So they have very similar requirements. So I mean, if you're going to have waru, you might as well get discus. But I don't really get that analogy. I think they look completely different. I think they both got merit. I quite fancy keeping a waru at some point. But although they do have similar requirements to the discus, I don't get the comparison quite so often because they look very different to my eye. A South American river. Not sure. I'm not sure. My South American cichlid knowledge is not what it should be. So one of the things I'm trying to catch up on. Oh, there's a good call. Festivums. I do like festivums. They're one of these fish that make me think of, they look super delicate but aren't. Really interesting, yeah. That'd be a good call. Panda waru. I have seen pictures or video clips of panda waru, but I've never seen them in real life. And don't know much about them. But a bit like discus in the fact they're a tad shy, but spook easily, particularly as babies. Or my favourite earth eater, Santanoperca. Satanoperca. Satan Operca. Epic name. Beautiful, subtle 8.2 has defeated me. Come on, Graham, use your words. Beautiful, subtle coloration, confident and active. So, earth eaters in I'm trying to copy that so as I can Google it. There you go. Hey. Oh yes, quite an interesting, quite a variation actually. They're not all the same fish. Let's see if I can show you this. Desktop. It never works. Trust me, I'm trying to fix it. There you go. Should hopefully be able to see that now. I do like the colours. I love all these fish that have this kind of neon-y quality to their coloration. I think they look epic in low light and high light, and just every situation I think they look fantastic. Geophagus, destroyer of aquascapes in general, not so much of a fan. Look at that one, that's quite epic. But in the right situation, Geophagus would be really good. Right, I need to take some water out of Humphrey's tank, or otherwise we're not water changing, we're just topping off. So let's get a little bit out. As you will see, Humphrey will now try and attack my hose. But hey, don't hear that every day. So I'm trying to scoop up some of these poop. I already scooped up a massive one from Humphrey earlier. Sorry, it's very uncouth for me to be discussing his toilet habits. Come on, buddy. Alright. No need to bite me. I'm just trying to say hello. Too slow. So Humphrey doesn't get water changes quite as often as the Discus do. In fact, it's probably been a fortnight since I've given him a water change. So I'm only going to drop water down to maybe here. This is quite a deep tank, that way and that way. So if I can get the water level back up to here, that'll be a good 100 litres or so. So the one thing I meant to do, but I've forgotten to do, is to go and get some food to feed them. So talk amongst yourselves while I go and get some food. And we're back. So what we're going to feed tonight is we've got a mixture of things. I've got almost the last of the beef heart. This was the beef heart that came with my new Discus. So we'll get some of that in there. Got a few prawns, a few frozen lumps of bloodworm, as well as the packet that it came with. So we'll let these warm up a little bit. Humphrey, as well as prawns, likes my special mix. So in here we've got things you can't see. This is a mix of Hikari Cichlid Gold and some of the Flowerhorn Excalibur products. He seems to like them though. I'll move my mug out of the way. Sorry, everything's going all over the place. Trying to catch up to where I got to. Oh, I'm so far behind. Right, I do apologise. I seem to be about 3 years behind on the comments. Water! Level! Question! Water! Yes, I'm sorry, I got quite far behind, so you didn't get to move in that tank, so we'll get to in this one. Right, sorry. Right, where did we get up to? So I think this is me when I'm trying to fix the GoPro. Yes, for all as an IT professional, the amount of times have you tried turning it off and back on again actually works. It's kind of 99% of the time. If all else fails, switch it off. I was having my... Oh, big news! So, regular viewers will know that the big Discus display tank that's been lying empty for pretty much a year now, I figured out why it broke. So there's the first bit of big news, but the second bit of big news is it's been lying empty because I kept almost getting the floor replaced. The floor was replaced today. It's finished. It's done. Well, it's almost done. They have to come back on Monday and do some work on the skirting boards. But the new floor is in. That means the new tank, or the old tank, can be brought back into service. So I've been looking for replacement panels of glass, because if you have been following the channel for a while, you know this was my Discus display tank. I filled it up and the bottom smashed. Pardon me. And I thought it was some kind of... well, first of all, I thought it was a seal or seam that had gone. Then I thought it was something to do with the way we had transported it when we moved house, because we moved this house last year. But yeah, the bottom panel completely smashed. The bottom two panels, because it's a dual skin, both cracked, totally gutted. That was the tank that was my 40th birthday present. But I had to move it out of its position. So even though it was empty, it's still absolute ton. I can barely move it on my own. I can literally move it like a couple of inches at a time, and I lift it up and move it. So we had to get it into the living room. But I took all the walls off, not the walls, the cupboard, the panels, the panelling off. I took some of the struts out, I took the sump out, took all the pipe work out, just to make it as light as possible to give me a chance to actually move it out the hall so we could lay the new floor. And then in moving it, I realised why it had broken. In their wisdom, I had, it's going to be really hard to explain now, but I'd put up like a power bar, a wall, like an 8-socket extension, kind of like this, but a fancier version of it. That was on the back wall of the cabinet, so above the sump and underneath the main tank. And that ran, one of the plugs ran off that to another extension lead, which I ran the heater, the heating controller off. So I plugged 2 heaters into the heating controller, and the heating controller was screwed into the top of, so the bottom of the main tank, if you like. A bit of plywood that was attached to it's a metal stand, so it's attached to the bottom of the bottom of the top of the stand. Does that make sense? So that was screwed in there, and then the plugs were on the back of that. And when we moved the tank, in their wisdom, there was a sheet of plywood there, so you could like put things on it. It was almost like a little shelf. And I used to tuck the cords, so the excess cord, I used to tuck that in there. And what I hadn't realised, because it was blocked by this sheet of plywood, is the movers had wrapped the cable round the top of the tank, the top of the stand. So the bit the tank sat on, if you imagine a bar like this, I'm gonna have to do it. So if you imagine this being one of the struts at the top of the stand, and the tank sits on top of this, they'd wrapped some cable round there, but there was plywood skinning underneath it, so I couldn't see it. And then obviously the tank was sat on top of it. So when I filled the tank with water, all that weight went on that, and that's why it popped. And it wasn't until I moved it and started stripping it down completely that I noticed someone had looped that round there. So rather than it just being poked in on the little shelf, it was wrapped round there, creating this huge bump. Smashed the bottom of my tank. So I could have avoided all of that if I had just done a little bit more due diligence and checked everything out a little bit better. But anyway, the big news is I can now order some new glass to replace that panel that broke, and start to think about prepping that tank and getting it back up and running again. Woo! Manuel, I don't know if you remember me from last time, but I followed your advice. Uh-oh. And the white spot on my Discus disappeared. Hey! Excellent. Thanks. In your opinion, what is better, 20% water change every other day or 25% every 3 days? To be honest, they're as near as damn it to each other that they're probably exactly the same. No, there's an argument for both. There's no better in this scenario. Advocates for both would say the 20% every other day or 25% every 3 days, you're changing small amounts of water regularly, so that's not altering the water parameters too much. Whereas they would say the dangers are that if you do 50, 60, 70, 80% water changes, you could be causing big swings and stressing out your fish. Whereas the people who do big water changes would say, oh no, you want to do big swings because you want to clear out all the bad hormones, all the nitrates, all the nasties in the water. So it's one of those, what's better, Xbox or PlayStation? As long as you're doing water changes, you're doing fine. In my opinion. Yeah, 99% of IT is turning things off and turning them back on again. So I had the joiners in laying the floor and putting some doors in and things today, and my internet went down. And they were like, oh, God, that must be great for guys like you. I work in IT, so I am an IT professional. You don't have to rely on call centres and things like that. And I was like, oh, yeah, I suppose not. Because I know how to turn things off and turn them back on my own without someone else telling me. And they were like, ha ha ha, yeah, but how do you really fix it? And I was like, no, that's what we do. and it is true. We might know some fancier commands to turn things off automatically. But yeah, turn them off, turn them back on again. Or as in Ginger says, when you get really frustrated, kick it. Yeah. I did some laptop smashing earlier this week. I had one of the most stressful couple of weeks in my life with work, where I had to get up from my desk. I work from home, but I had to get up and walk away because I was like, I'm going to punch something, and everything around here is very. I can't afford to smash my laptop. Oh, but the desire to kick something. Lily, I think it's time you start sampling some white wine. Do you know, wine's another thing I'd like to get into. So far, beer's not cutting it for me. We've had some disgusting minging beers over the last couple of weeks. Maybe we should try some nice wines. That'd be a nice way to go. Cider, I think it's too easy. Cider's just delicious. It's basically grown-up juice. But that one's very nice. If you get a chance. Cranberry and clementine cider from the Co-op. It's a limited edition. Can definitely recommend. Joe Coffee. Hello, Joe. Apologies, you've probably even gone. Early start for Aquarium Daily. You've probably already gone. Do you know what? I'm old now, I suppose. I still think of myself as being like a teenager, but I guess I am old now. But in the olden days, when I worked in IT, we used to have calls, and you'd get calls that were like, the coffee holder on my PC's broken. And they meant their CD-ROM drive, or the printer's not working, and you talk them through things for an hour, and they say, it is plugged in, isn't it? You'd hear her scrabbling around going, thank you very much. Yeah. Or, as Joe says, jiggling the handle. I was trying to fix my GoPro. We have successfully fixed it by turning it off and back on again. "25 degrees is the temperature in my office or thereabouts, so I don't really want to go hotter." No, if it's your working universe, so this in here, what's the temperature in here? It's there. It's 26 degrees in here, and it's, for a man of my stature, it's almost unbearable. It's not comfortable for me. There are very few things in life that can't be fixed with a general application of duct tape. Quite right. Oh! 2 down. Now let's see if I can catch myself up a little bit. Scott's on beer number 2, Ultra Phase by North Brewing Company, 8.5%. Whoa! Verdict, not great first taste, but then it's going down alright. As Joe says, is that fish alright? It's got a weird growth on its head. Humphrey does have an impressive cock, but it's nothing compared to some of the flower horns. So he is a camphor. I'm not totally up on all the different types of flower horns. But some of them have like, hey, ridiculoso. But he is an awesome fish. He's one of those. He's definitely a pet. When you come in, he's like, hello. Well, it's not true. It's like, come here till I kill you. But he's the most interactive thing I've seen. It's an MMA fish. Been hit in the head far too many times. Go Water Aquatics. Good evening, fishy friends. What time are we at? We're at 10:10, just about. Does he like you, or does he want to eat your fingers till your hand resembles mine? He wants to You put it in the tank, he will bite it. So let's just say that. Right, so God, I'm so far behind. Yeah, never pick a fight with someone with a cauliflower ear. That's good advice. Look at him seeing the food pot and getting all excited. Oh, did I piss him off? And he's cool and all, but he's not the fastest or the brightest. He doesn't realise he's hovering over a large piece of prawn. Come on, Humphrey, you can do it. Turn around. Look behind you. Come on, turn around. Why are you so blind? Silver Creek Aquatics studied. What does that say? Aishin Ryu Karate and Muay Thai. Real stuff, not gym stuff. I used to do karate when I was younger, and taekwondo. I did taekwondo, Shotokan karate, and Shukokai. Only made black belt in Shukokai though. And then discovered the joys of beer and women. Epic Discus tank returns. Yes, that is the plan. I'm hoping to do like a proper aquascape. But everything else seems to be costing me so much money, I don't know if I'll have the funds to get there. But I'm really quite excited about it because I really wanted to get my big Discus tank back up and running again. Okay, now we're moving on. Beer number 3. This is Bradfield Brewery. So this is a local brewery to me. Very local, just up the road. But they supply all the pubs around here. I think they do a little bit further afield as well. But this is the Farmer's Blonde. This is the one I've tried before, and I know I like this one. This is the one that made me think I could get into proper beers, because it's a proper beer. I had a keg of this, not last Christmas, but the Christmas before. And in fact, this is the one beer we've legitimately got a chance of getting sponsored by because they're local. So, you know, Bradfield Brewery, if you wanted to email them and say, I saw someone on the internet drinking your beer and saying how wonderful it was, you should probably give that guy a couple of crates. I wouldn't hate it if you all decided to email Bradfield Brewery. Has anyone got a flake? I'd never work in a bar, would I? Hope to get to go in the next few years. Looks like Tokyo, but I'd love to go to Kyoto and see the kimono and traditional culture. I'd quite like to go to Japan as well. Oh, I'd love to go during the traditional... I've just added the word traditional there. I'd love to go during this Cherry Blossom Festival. Yeah, the mover should have told me they wrapped it round, so everyone involved had the blame and the damage. Yeah, it's one of those things. I've got over it now. Snoochie Booch. Finally got a live stream, usually hanging in the replay crew. Hi everybody. Hello yourself. Should we get the water level shout out done now? It's a good call actually. I like that one. Thank you. Cheers, Kaylee. So I upgraded Mr. Golden Som, as you can see in the bottom right hand corner, feeling a bit sorry for himself because I just upgraded him today. You can still see a bit of Humphrey when he gets a bit pissed off. Water! Thank you, Ross. Have you tried any milk stouts? Yes, but many years ago. I didn't hate it, if I'm completely honest, but it didn't feel like my thing. We had a remote site call to say they had lost connection to their applications. Half an hour later it turned out they had a power cut. Yeah. If you know about SAP Pro Max integrations, you'll know True Paint anything to do with SAP, yes. Yeah. Users, they're the worst thing in IT. We had one where it was an on-site server and it started playing up and they logged a P1, priority 1 call about it. And when was the last time this server was rebooted? Oh, we reboot it religiously. It manages all our finance data, so we need to make sure it's patched every week, and it gets this, that and the other, and you log into it and you look at it. Last reboot date, 3,745 days. Yeah, of course you do. In response to the finger eating comment, there's only room in the fish farm for one man named Four Fingers. I'm trying to keep all my digits, so this is not a competition I want to win. I'll happily let you have that silver. Shotokan Karate is good stuff. I trained with a guy that was a black belt in Shotokan. I only got to brown in Shotokan. Shukokai. I made it all the way on that one. Sorry, that one made me laugh. The only sport I can do is rounders. That's the only sport I can do now. uh, Taekwondo, it wasn't for me, that one. It was a bit too much jumpy and shouty and no real substance. But I'm not sure if that's just because our instructor was a bit of a show pony. Just every time I got into a fight, it was never my Taekwondo training I relied on. My nephew did Taekwondo and tried to talk him out of it and just train with me, but he wouldn't do it. Now he's quit and forgot all of it. Yeah. Robert Kerr, Dad, love the fish with the big head. That fish has got a massive coupon. You're bringing back childhood bad memories here, Scott. I do actually have a physically massive head. That's why me and Humphrey got on so well. See, this I can get on board with. Zero ick. Zero, this is going to be minging smell. Smells like, it's like a thick lager. That's how I describe this. So again, Bradfield Brewery. Joshua, what's going on with Mega Tank? Nothing. So, Mega Tank has been stripped down yet again and filled. I need to touch some wood. And hasn't leaked. I want to do one final bit of just belt and braces, but I reckon in the next couple of weeks, once I fill it again, I want to leave it for a good couple of weeks before I make a video announcing my great success. So I reckon in the next 2 or 3 weeks you might get a video about Mega Tank holding water and potentially having fish in it. So that's what's going on with Mega Tank. I did Taekwondo with this group of enthusiasts, but we were all black belts. Had no idea why I have to shout while doing it. I get the shouting, but when I did the Taekwondo, it was all about, oh, right, if you lot all stand here, I'll jump over you and kick this board and we'll break the board. That'll be impressive, won't it? Well, y'all, yeah, it will. But in what situation will I be required to jump over 3 people to kick someone else on the face? Why are we training for this? Right, we're now refilling the angel tank, so I'm going to move myself back over this side. So when it gets to about there, same level as this tank. Oh, Joe, look at this. Joe, I used to work with a guy called Joe Coffey. You're not the same Joe Coffey, are you? And he did Unix as well. If you just run everything off Unix, then you really don't need an IT professional. No, you just need a translator for when things go wrong. So you're grepping things left and right. Oh. He'd be scalped if he served a pint with a head like that in Govan. Which is why I've never worked in a pub. See, this is nice. It's supposedly releasing energy whilst... Or are we talking about the KIs? Yeah, so I think the thinking behind... There's two schools of thought on that is... It's a focusing of energy, so when you're going for the kill shot, if you like, it's the crescendo of the Kia is when you make the strike, so you're focusing all your energy there. Some people say it's about the overall energy, because it's when you breathe in, you breathe out, and you breathe out, you make a noise, so you make that noise, and that again focuses your energy. If you're doing it, I mean, we're talking 20, 30 years ago when I was doing this, it makes sense and you can feel it, but it's very hard to convince someone through the power of speech. Think of it like you're breathing out, then pushing the last bit of breath out all at once. This is the hi-hat or whatever. It just makes the sound when you force the air out, to be honest. That's as good a way as any to describe it. Is this the OnlyFans stream? No, there's much fewer clothes than the OnlyFans stream. Can we see some of the fish we don't usually see? Isn't the water still going into the gold som tank? What would you like to see? So we fed the discus. Let's see the Oscars. Oscars are freaking out for some reason. So hopefully you can see they're putting on quite a bit of size. So they're going to go into a new tank soon as well. I think they're outgrowing this one. I don't know why they're freaking out. They don't normally do that. Camera shy, obviously. When I was stationed in Seoul, I was in a unit that had Korean forces, Thai special forces, and Filipino special forces. The Koreans couldn't get to SG sergeant rank without being a black belt in Taekwondo. Some of those black belts were given out very generously. Every time I speak to someone about Taekwondo or Taekwondo, I can never remember how to say it properly. There seems to be a lot of shenanigans. The Taekwondo in Korea and the Taekwondo here in the States are polar opposites, though. I bet they are, yes. Can you do the 1-inch punch? Yes. Yes, I can. Maybe not quite as impressively as Bruce Lee or someone might do it. Water has been changed, don't worry. Water is off. I don't know why the Oscars are in such a grump. Let's feed. Lost my fish food for a minute. Tell you what, I'll put you on the rainbows. We don't see them enough. The next person to say shenanigans has to drink a shot of foam. All foam free. How are the fry doing? They're doing pretty well. Oh, water. Turns out I hadn't turned the water off. So it turns out, even with your help, I still get it wrong. How are the fry doing? The fry are doing fine. I shall show you the fry shortly. Oh, Muay Thai. There's another one. Yeah, we used to have lots of people who were into that. I think it was more. What was that film with Jean-Claude Van Damme? Was it The Kickboxer? You know, the one where he kind of turns up to the tournament and there's just this guy there kicking lumps of shit out of one of the concrete pillars. That used to be like the height of. You were the hardest guy there if you could kick a concrete post and not cry. all before we knew what movies were and that people did things differently. Kickboxer, that's the one. Right, let's see if we can get the fry. We'll give them a bit of a feed. Right. Whoops. That 8.1% stuff. I'm not sure if that comes across just as well there, but these are my dwarf blue, neon blue rainbows fry, which I'm going to give a little bit of. I've moved them on from fry food to oh, this is krill flake. This is not what I thought it was. I thought this was the bug flake, but krill flake will work just as well. But we seem to have 6, so I've lost a couple. But 6 that have done quite well and made it into quite large size. Not that you can see them on this. This is the one thing about the. It's one thing about feeding krill flake, you get to see the bellies fill up with bright red. It's really funny. Bloodsport, that's the one. It's not Kickboxer. So many Jean-Claude Van Damme films. I am, you're right QC, I'm talking about Bloodsport. Might have to watch that again. I mean, it's got to be 30 years since I've watched that. Tong Po. That was his name, wasn't it? Is that a normal amount to feed 6 fry? No, it's not. That was what you feed 6 fry after 3 beers. To be fair, there's a bunch of snails and stuff in there as well, so they'll go off that. But yes, that was a little bit too much. Right, we're into the last 15 minutes. If anyone's got any questions, Jean-Claude Van Damme related or not. Did you see that? There was a TV programme where Jean-Claude Van Damme was playing Jean-Claude Van Damme. It was brilliant. Yeah, should look that up. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, that first Cider's done me in. What was the name of the Jean-Claude Van Damme film now? I think it might have been Van Damme. Jean-Claude Van Johnson. It was like, not a comedy, but had comedic elements. It was Jean-Claude Van Damme playing Jean-Claude Van Damme, or Jean-Claude Van Damme playing Jean-Claude Van Johnson. I think it was on Amazon or something like that. Worth a watch. But it made me really like Jean-Claude Van Damme. One of my favourite films as a kid was, there was another one of his. It's a bit of a quiz now. How many times can one man say Jean-Claude Van Damme? JCVD playing himself as twins. So it was him and his twin brother. One of the twins was evil, and not evil. There was like a bad boy twin and a good boy twin. And I think it was like a loose adaptation of Batman, but basically the parents had been killed in some kind of hit, and they'd been raised in different places, and then they had to come together to get the baddies who killed their parents, basically. Anyone seen that one? Double Impact, says Simon Littlefield. That's the one. I love that film. Maybe it was because the first film that I saw that had boobs in it. Maybe that's what it was. As Ray says, I haven't seen that brutal movie. It is a brutal movie. It's not good in any way, shape or form, but it's also one of my favourite films. Oh, Scott says, anyone watch that Nicolas Cage movie? Oh, I haven't seen that. I've been looking out for it. Where can I see that? Is it on anything, or do I need to pirate it? Face Off. Now there's another terrible film that's actually really good. Yeah, but Double Impact. It's they end up on like these Chinese fishing boats, and they end up being in an island, and they have like existential crisis about one. Oh, it's brilliant. It's so bad it's good. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Yes, that's the Nicolas Cage one, isn't it? Where can I see that? Might watch that after the stream if I can. Right, someone ask a fish question, quick. We're turning. Whoa, wait a minute. Have you seen the Kickboxer sequels? I was not aware there were Kickboxer sequels. Rented for £2 from Prime. Well, that's the way to look at it, yep, okay. Right, I'm just going to double check I've not left water running anywhere. As you can see, biosecurity has gone out the window again after 3 beers. Kickboxer Retaliation, Kickboxer Vengeance. Have they got JCVD in them, or have they got someone else in them? The guy who plays Tong Po returns for the second one, but a different one in the third. Do your fish know Taekwondo? No, I don't believe they do. Let's see if we can offer them up for a fight. How are the Discus doing? The Discus are doing fine. The Discus are doing fine. Call this thing? Less fine. Tripod, that's the word. So we'll put the Discus in for the last few minutes. JCVD isn't in the sequels, and I'm not watching them. Oh, conflicting information. Yes, he is. Going to have to go to IMDb and check it out. Is it a trilogy? Franchise? Kickboxer film series. 7 films! Okay, hang on. Need to share this. This is important stuff. Yeah, there you go. Kickboxer is an American action film franchise that totals 7 films. The first installment revolves around a character named Kurt Sloan, played by Jean-Claude Van Damme. Due to opting out of Kickboxer 2 to do the film Double Impact, which is what we were talking about, the second through 4th installments revolve around the character David Sloan, played by Sasha Mitchell in all 3 entries. Little brother to Van Damme's character from the original. Redemption, Kickboxer 5, simply titled The Redemption in the opening title card, focuses on Matt Reeves, a friend of the Sloan family. After a long hiatus, 6th entry was eventually made as Kickboxer Vengeance, which also serves as a reboot to the storyline with Alain Moose playing Kurt Sloan and original actor Jean-Claude Van Damme playing the trainer. The 7th entry, titled Kickboxer Retaliation, serves as a direct sequel to the characters in Kickboxer Vengeance. So, he's only in the first one, and then comes back in 6 and 7, but as the trainer. Ooh, there's another one. Kickboxer Armageddon to be announced. The things you learn. See, you thought you were coming to hear boring fish facts about boring fish, but no. Let's fight to the death to find see who finds out. See, all we need is Wikipedia and you can find out. Right, I suspect there's only like 5 people watching this now because we've gone on to a huge tangent of kickboxer related trivia. Or Jean-Claude Van Damme related trivia. Oh no, we've still got 30 odd people here. Imagine that. Right, we're drawing to a close, people. I didn't quite manage to get through the pale ale, so we might save that for next week. Or I might have it when I go back upstairs. But for now, the fish are fed, the water has been changed. More importantly, the water has been turned off. The Discus are still doing their thing. And as Silver Creek says, Jean-Claude Van Damme you fine. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for joining me. See you in the next one next week. Probably next week, yeah, I think. And if I don't see you through the week, see you through the window. Bye!